I'm going to show you how to take the yolk out of your eggs that you've already made. So some of the eggs that I'm going to show you now, I actually already took a lot of the wax off because I was just curious to see what they were going to look like. So you can do this if you've already taken all the wax off. You can do this little trick of mine, which is to take your egg, which is still full, and dip it into a little bit of hot wax just on the bottom, and then it dries and you get a coating of wax just at the bottom of the egg, and that's going to help protect it while you're blowing it out. If you haven't taken the wax off, if you're going to blow the egg out right after making the egg, then you don't need to do that part if the wax is still on the egg. So that's the first part. Add a bit of wax around the hole where you're going to blow out the egg. The next part is to make a hole in the egg. So to make a hole in the egg, you just need one really simple little tool, and I use a thumbtack. You can see it's just a regular thumbtack with plastic edge. I've used other materials. I've tried using screws, which are not good. I've tried using nails, which also I have not had much success with. You can buy special tools that will make the hole in the egg, but a thumbtack does the trick. So what I'm going to do is take an egg. This is if you have a one-hole egg blower. You only need to make one hole. If you don't have any other special egg blowing tool, then you can just make a hole in the top and in the bottom of the egg. And you make that hole simply by locating the center of the bottom of the egg. And I'm really just, I don't know if you can see it, but so I just kind of made, that's one hole. I'm going to punch it a little bit bigger than one thumbtack hole's worth. So you can see it's not very big at all, but that's what it is. And if I was going to be blowing the egg out with my mouth, I'd make that hole on the bottom, and then I would make another hole on the top, and the hole on the top would be just one punch through. So it's smaller on the top than it is on the bottom. So once you have a hole in your egg, or even before you put the hole in, just give the egg a shake, and if you put the hole on it, put a hole in, make sure you're covering the hole, and give it a shake. And what that does is it loosens the membrane inside the egg, and it makes it easier to blow out. So shake it up a little bit. And now I'm going to take, this is called the one-hole egg blower, which I purchased from an online pysanka supply shop, the Ukrainian bookstore in Edmonton. It's a mail order item. It's $10. They're all different kinds of this kind of device. You don't need it. You can actually blow with your mouth. I just really don't like doing that. So this is how you use this tool. So I have one hole in my egg. I'm going to, well, looks like I made the hole a little small. So I need to make the hole a little bit bigger by punching, making it just a little bigger than the actual tool. You can see. So I put the needle in, I kind of move it around a little bit again to help break up the membrane in the yolk. And now I blow. It's important to remember when you're blowing out the yolk to actually stop. Not if you're using a one-hole egg blower, if you keep blowing on it, it's going to build up a lot of pressure inside the egg, and then the egg will actually start sweating out a little bit of the dye. So if you just blow a bit and then let the yolk come out, let the and the whites come out, and then blow a little bit more and just keep doing that. You'll see that the yolk has come out now. And sometimes there's little hard pieces of the membrane and you need to help them along a little bit. Just remember that if you're going to use your fingers, you don't want to touch the egg again because the moisture from your hands will take the yolk off, or will take the dye off of the egg. I'm going to give you a closer up view of the yolk coming out of the egg. And you'll see why it's important to protect the bottom of the shell, because the yolk is actually touching part of the egg. But because we coated it with wax, it's not a problem. Now you'll know it's done when you kind of hear that sound and when you're blowing and nothing comes out. And that's it. So not too complicated, not too disgusting if you have the right tools. If you wanted to do it without the tool, you just put the hole in the top and you'll literally like blow like that. But just be aware that the dye might come off of your lips, the moisture on your lips will take the dye off the egg, so you might want to put a bit of wax on the top of the egg as well. It's important to remember that you can't eat the yolk that has come out of a dyed pysanka if you're using pysanka dyes, because the dyes are actually not edible and they may have, the yolk may have been contaminated by the dyes. So unfortunately you need to throw the yolk out. If you blow the yolk out before you make the egg, then you can eat that yolk. Here's something I do once I've blown out the yolk out of an egg. I have a peg board, which is just a regular piece of MDF and nails in it on a grid. And I use this for all kinds of things, but right now I'm going to use it to help dry my eggs. So I just put a piece of tin foil on there and I'm punching it down. And now I'm going to put the egg that I just blew out with the whole side down, and I'm going to let it sit there, and I'm going to put the rest of the eggs on there as well. And what that does is it helps the yolk, even after you've blown out the yolk, there's always a little bit still in there, so it's good to let it sit for a while, let it all come out. I'm going to let them sit overnight just to let anything that's still in there to come out, and then tomorrow I'm going to take the wax off.